And in the back of everything that's happening is just that underlying knowledge that the Germans are going to launch this offensive, and it's
just
coming.
A question of when.
And they know, and then they find out about halfway through that it's going to be on the 21st. So they know that they are going to be the ones in the front line when it happens. I mean, it is pretty touch and go.
Yeah.
And Hagoff comes out with that backs to the wall order where he basically says nobody is allowed to retreat from this position. You have to fight it. You have to fight in a position to the last man. Yeah. It's that serious at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they really did think that this might be it, didn't they, really?
Yeah.
I mean, the Germans were going to win.
Yeah.
And for a few weeks, you know, there didn't seem to be any other option, really.
That's right, because they're pushing forward to Amiens, the big rail network.
Yeah.
If they have seized that, then it's all pretty chaos in the rear areas. I mean, the whole offensive was based on a overwhelming, heavy artillery bombardment, but of short duration. So you would basically smash the front line, any front line defences in, like wire defences, etc., with artillery fire. Artillery positions behind the lines, command posts, etc., would be hit with gas. And then what would happen is the first troops that are going to hit you in this offensive were the German stormtroop units, who were specially trained assault units. And down in the gallery, we've got a uniform and equipment of one of those stormtroops. Right. The stormtroops will very quickly rush through the position. They're lightly equipped, lots of grenades, they've even got their own light artillery, etc., with them. And they go in, as I say, try to overwhelm the position, but if they don't, they just go round a position, like a wave breaking around a rock. And they carry on. And then they would have other divisions coming up behind, and then it's the other infantry guys just turn up and just mop up anybody who's resisting. So if you survive the artillery bombardment and the stormtroop attack, then you've still got these other guys coming up behind you as well.
To mop it up.
Yeah, because the Germans have managed to move all of these troops from the Eastern Front, where the Russians have dropped out of the war. For a while, just that little while, the Germans have got a manpower advantage, and they need to try to win the war before, of course, all the hundreds and thousands of Americans are going to turn up. And really turn the tide. So they've got a very short window.
The attack on the 21st of March, I mean, it was a big success, wasn't it, for the Germans? Really?
Oh yeah. They punch a hole right through, through the line on a pretty wide front as well. The big problem is with the German attacks is that they don't have any transport. They don't even really have any cavalry by 1918 because all the horses have had to go into transport units because they're short of horses. So they don't really have anything that can keep the offensive going. So in a way, it's a bit like the German advance in 1914, where it's all down to basically how fast a bloke can march. And then you have to fight as well. And if you try to keep that going day after day after day, at some point you're going to run out of steam. And that's the offensive. And obviously the first day of that offensive is actually here in the play.